Okay, I think we are a go. We are recording. So, hello everyone. This is Ren, one of the people working on the game, and today we're kind of going to do a let's play. We can call it like a simulated let's play because we're all kind of familiar with our concepts and stuff. But we receive a lot of interest and kind of like enthusiasm for showing off a little bit about what the game is. So we wanted to create like a new scenario, maybe one that's a little less complicated than others, but just give people like a small taste of, what a session and what a story in Society of Rafa could look like. And so to join me in this sort of like experiment, we have two other people on the team who both work on the game. So I guess I just have Kellogg's on the left. So if you could start, Kelly.
Hello everyone, I'm Kelly. I'm sorry. My name is Kelly. I also go by Kellogg Nuts online, and I am the illustrator for Society of Rafa. So yeah, I help with basically bringing the world to life and showing a lot of the visual aspects of the game.
Hi, I'm Becca. I am the content editor for Society of Rafa, and I am delighted to be here.
Yep. And so I know that we have played with your all's characters before, but so that we can get some flavor of what it's like to build a character and kind of like create motivations for whatever type of Rafa you are. I'm kind of hoping we can go through both of your characters and then we can start playing.
Sure, happy to start here. So I play Rafa Maya Bet Or. She's a woman, and her pronouns are she, her. Now, she's an apothecary who loves plants. She's very nearsighted, like myself. So she uses her abilities to like communicate with plants to help her see around. So my background, or Maya's background, I should say, was that she was left as a baby at the Houses of Healing and grew up among the Rafas playing in the garden. So apothecary was always going to be the choice for Maya. And Maya seeks to be helpful, courteous, and respectful of all life. She's very much down to help smooth out any like awkwardness or conflicts caused by less tactful colleagues. And city of Frieda sort of freaks Maya out because it's hard to see because there are less plants around. It's very much, lots of buildings. So yeah.
And definitely that was a little jab at one of my characters for being highly untactful. And how about you, Kelly? Who are you playing today?
Hi, so my character is a lot older than I am, and she's also a lot different than I am personality wise. So my character's name is Frieda. Frieda Bet Allegra. That's her name. She is a surgeon and she is 32 years old. So she is also a woman. She identifies as such, and she was also born female. Her pronouns are she, her. As for her personality, she is actually pretty, how do you say this? She's a bit socially withdrawn, if you could say so. She's not a big fan of, she's not a big fan of having fun, if you want to look at it that way. The reason why she chose to be a surgeon is because she developed an interest in the human body from a young age, because she actually grew up as an only child, and She didn't spend a lot of time with her parents because both of them were extremely busy. Let's see, hobbies. What does Frieda enjoy? Obviously, she enjoys reading books and writing letters to her parents. She has a very good relationship with her parents, and she also enjoys going on walks in the town square. Now, Frieda has a bit of a tragic story to her because when she was performing surgery, like, sorry, when you guys asked me to rewrite my character script, this is one of the things about Frieda that I remember the most, is that I basically made her have a horrible experience in her field, that being that one of her best friends died on the operating table. And so at present, she's sort of hesitant to perform major surgery. So she only does very minor surgeries for now, but she's trying to, sort of recover from the trauma of that. So that's Frieda.
And I'm trying to remember and get it right. It was her operating table, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that.
So there's a
that
lot of
leads to
guilt.
some guilt, yeah. Well, I do remember trying to rope your character in is a little bit of a thing, talking about that withdrawn thing. So I think we'll get to Maya in a second, but Frieda, how do you feel about being on duty today so that you basically have to participate?
Well, I Frieda she feels okay about it, I would say. It's part of the job. She gets to work with people, and she still has a passion for healing and medicine. So despite the fact that she has to talk to people, unfortunately, a part of her is still very happy that she gets to do her job.
Okay, so we're gonna start you, Frieda, at the front desk, and in essence, you are waiting on duty, on call, so that you can help kind of whoever comes in and needs help. What do you want to do with your time? Like, are you just going to stare at like the login, say there's a scroll that you have to check in at, or do you want to study? Like, what is Frieda doing while waiting?
At this time, I think Frieda would be reviewing her notes on previous surgeries, also thinking about ways she can improve in her craft. So she's basically studying, doing some reading, minding her own business, hoping nobody comes inside and bothers her.
Fair. Okay. And I will just say that, like, Maya, you are normally a sweet and wonderful person, so you do not need to be on call today. You get to do what you want. I don't know,
Lucky.
maybe let's start around, noon, something like that. What do you want to have had for lunch? We're going for something vegetarian. It can be as sweet or as savory as you want. What appeals to you today?
Cheese latkes. So
Ooh,
like ricotta cheese pancakes with raspberry jam, honey, syrup, that sort of thing.
okay. Now I'm starting to get a little bit hungrier, even though I already ate my sandwich. So, okay, the ricotta pancakes, the latkes, are kind of all eaten. You've enjoyed your fill, and I think we'll have you kind of like starting to finish up from that. So what would you like to do next?
Well, I can help like return some of the dirty plates and the utensils to the kitchen.
Okay.
Can like sort of balance some plates. Maybe there's like a tray to help me out because Lord knows, not the most great at carrying large piles of dishes and
Well, luckily this isn't the game where I make you roll for dexterity checks to make sure that you don't trip on anything on your way. So, yeah, Chef Galit, the cook at the House of Healing, definitely sees you sort of like clearing up and making, everything a little bit neater, and is kind of like, you can just leave that in the sink. It's all right, dear. You're all right.
Oh, it's okay. I finished preparing all my herbal remedies today, so I can help if you
Okay.
want.
Okay, well, rinse it off then. We'll have some washers in later, but if you rinse it, it'll be easier for him. But you're all done with work, you say?
Yep.
Well, actually, I have a something I need. Dropped off some Zaba bread for tonight's the beginning of the day of rest, and we really want someone to go pick it up. We brought the dough already, and so do you have time to go like pick it up at the communal oven?
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, I can do that. Probably will see if anyone's available since little help would be appreciated there. Don't necessarily like to go alone.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, when we're trying to feed the entire society of Rafa, it's a lot of bread. Why don't you go see kind of who's on call today and see if you can bring them along? Maybe make sure they have a hand pie. Like, it's very important that everyone goes out with full energy.
Amen to that. So Maya will grab a hand pie from the little like basket of hand pies that's Chef Galit always has available, and head over to the front desk.
Okay. And so, Frieda, just remind us how, into your study are you? Will you kind of notice anyone coming up, or how are you doing?
Well, I'm feeling very intuitive today, so I sense a presence, but I pretend that I don't notice. So I just continue reading.
I'm gonna like walk by slowly and sort of like just do like the sideways glance and I'll, like slowly continue walking and then just sort of like turn around and like casually walk back to the desk after I've passed it and be like, "Hi, Frieda."
So I am going to look up, but I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to keep looking at you with my eyebrow raised.
I don't mean to bother you.
But you are.
Oh, I'm sorry. Wow. Heartbreak is real. I brought you a hand pie.
Oh, thank you. I'm actually starting to get hungry. You know, it's really easy to get hungry when you're bored. Oh, sorry, my roommate's visible.
All good. Well,
Okay.
if you're bored, you could come with me to collect the Zaba bread from the communal oven in town. I'm gonna
Okay,
like
how long is it?
smile very
Okay, so you
winningly.
have my attention. You have my attention now. How long is this gonna take?
No more than an hour, I'd say. Probably less. It's not that far to town.
Oh, you know what? An hour away from this desk is definitely worth it. So I think I would like to go with you. Do I have to talk to anyone on the way?
No,
Okay. Okay. I think I'll
just
go.
me.
Just you. That's a lot. Okay. I think I'll go. Let's go. So at this point, I pick up my stuff. You know, I pick up my little book. I close it, but not before putting the bookmark in there. And then I put it in my little satchel, and then I look around to check if there's anyone coming in, and I decide, you know what? It's okay. I can leave my post. This job isn't that important.
Well, luckily you are on a mission from the Society of Rafa, so
Yeah.
yeah, so the House of Healing for our people is kind of a little north of town, off kind of on its own. And so you guys are going to make your way into town. Are you going to ride maybe our tandem bicycles? Do you want to walk? Because it is a nice day out. I will say that if you are in no hurry, you can definitely do that.
Bike, bike,
We're.
bike, bike, bike.
I think it would be better if we rode the bike because Frieda hasn't eaten all that much yet. So, she doesn't have the energy to walk just yet.
Fair. Okay. So you guys take the bike and are going into town, and the communal oven is, coming into view as you start getting on, kind of more of the civilized parts. You get away from maybe the meadows and the other plains that you travel to get to town. And so you enter the village of Cahal, and the communal oven is a absolutely massive oven made out of clay, and it's got like a bunch of different openings, and you can kind of see the baker and her assistant trying to put more bread in the oven and take out the stuff that's good, but the line looks a little backed up. It's kind of like not as smoothly operating as perhaps it normally does. And so it looks like you guys are going to be in line for a while. Maybe you hear some gossip about, just the local election that's going on. And so some people are complaining about how, like, Counselor Boaz is having stiff competition, and maybe his husband wasn't even at the debate, and that's like scandalous, because everyone's like, if you have, significant others, they should definitely be there to support you. Like, what else do they have going on that's important? And so you're just sort of waiting and trying to figure out, like, maybe you're getting the sense that if, you just stay there, you're going to be there for like over that hour that you anticipated earlier, Maya.
Maybe we should see if Baker, Ahava, and Lila need any help. Maybe that would speed things up.
Honestly, I wouldn't mind waiting because the longer I take here, that means it's gonna take me a while to get back to my boring desk job. But if you think we should go help, then I guess we could, if you say so.
Well, not that I want to like deposit you back at your boring desk job, but standing too long hurts my back. Let's say hello.
All right.
So I'll lead the way over to the oven.
Okay. Skipping the line, I like it.
Yeah.
So Baker Ahava is definitely, like, noticing you guys coming up. You have your, shawls on, clearly indicating that you're Rafa's, and, very familiar with kind of the Society of Rafa's, humongous delivery. Let's just say there's like probably 6 or 8 loaves of bread for Zaba tonight. And so Baker Hava is like, Rafa's, hi. Chef Galit always sends someone, but you guys are a little early today. The loaves for the House of Healing haven't even made it into the oven yet. Sorry about that, but you're just gonna have to wait.
Oh, that's okay. I could stand here smelling bread all day. Anything we
I-
can do to help?
I could stay here forever, honestly.
Baker Hava laughs and uh, says, "No, it's okay. I know what I'm doing. I already have all of the bread coming out that I need. I'm just catching up from a really late start today. And oops, sorry, that was probably me making that noise. And so Baker Hava's assistant is like, yeah, you were late from checking in on Ilan. Auntie, maybe just take a break and tell them about it, because you can trust me to take loaves out of the oven. Like, I'll make sure they get to the right people."
Yeah, what's going on?
Well, Ilan, the retired baker, my master, I've always had a really good relationship with him, but
Mhm.
he's been really secluded lately, and I wanted to check in on him. Um, you know, we're starting to get a lot of rumors around, everyone likes gossiping around the communal oven, and it's even worse when I'm already late. And so I should get back to it, but I'm going to finish with you guys first. So, what is problematic is I wanted to go and see how, my master was, because I apprenticed and we always, like, he would come day in, day out. It didn't matter if he had a small cold, like, really hard work ethic. And he's not even coming out to support his husband during their election campaign. It's really weird. So I went to go see him, and he actually didn't even open the door. He just talked to me through his bedroom window, and it was just really strange. And I'm like trying to tell him that, you need to just make some appearances. People are starting to talk. And like when I asked him what was wrong, he wouldn't even say anything to me. And I'm worried about him. I'm kind of, maybe Layla's right, maybe my assistant, my um uh niece, maybe like you should just go in and see what's wrong, because he won't tell me anything.
Maybe he'd talk to us. What do you think, Frieda?
Definitely sounds like he's probably sick or something, and he's worried about being contagious. So, I think that's just a job for us.
Okay, well, I'll make sure I have your bread ready by the time you come back, okay? I'll get back to it right now. Go help out Layla.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So,
We'll be on our way.
yes, so we can hop on our tandem bike and ride over to Ilan and Counselor Boaz's house.
Okay,
Mm.
so, you know, Cahal is a small village. Like, definitely there's enough hustle and bustle going on, but everyone is in everyone's business, so you know exactly where you're headed. You go a little bit closer to the center of town, a little south from where you are, and you find like the really nice neighborhood where, the established members of Cahal live, and you see like the white picket fences. You've got a really like good part of town you're in, and you roll up on Ilan and Counselor Boaz's place, and everything is kind of like closed up. None of the windows are open. The drapes are closed. How do you want to proceed?
Well, let's knock on the door.
Okay, so you start knocking, and there's not a whole lot of activity yet. You're left waiting, is what we'll go with.
Hello, Ilan. We're here. We're here to check in on you. Anyone home?
You start hearing some bustle, and the door kind of like cracks open a crease, like a small amount, maybe an eye pokes out at you. And you aren't exactly sure who it is, but they're just saying like, "Oh, Hava, you didn't need to bring us our bread. You know, we could get someone to do it. I could get one of my, interns to do it from the council or something like that." But wait, you guys are Rafa's, right? What are you doing here? I thought you guys might have our bread for Zaba.
No. We're here to see Ilan. Baker Ilan was concerned about him, so we thought we'd stop by and see how he's doing.
Oh, the door maybe closes a little bit more, just telling you like you're not really welcome. But the words coming out of the counselor's mouth are a little bit more um, uh, gracious, I guess, and being like, "Oh, yeah, Ilan isn't here right now. He's been out of town since yesterday, but he'll really appreciate your concern, and I'll let him know you dropped by. Thank you so much, Rafas."
Wait a sec.
Mhm.
Didn't Baker Hava say that she spoke to Ilan like this morning?
Did she? I don't know. That doesn't sound right. No, sorry. He's been out of town. And okay, like I guess it's not good to lie to um our doctors. So
No, it's not.
all right. I'm just gonna like tell you guys, okay, Alon is here, but we're not taking visitors. Like I'm pretty busy with my election, and Alon is indisposed. Like I do thank you guys, but sorry.
Well, if he's indisposed, we should make sure that he's okay. People are talking.
Oh yeah, they are talking.
That doesn't sound great. Is it going to like are people getting suspicious?
And that would be an understatement, Counselor. Suspicious would be an understatement.
Um Boaz is kind of going through something in his head. You can kind of like sense some gears turning, but I think Boaz just has to kind of come out with you guys. So you see the door kind of opening, and you're seeing his face for the first time. And he just kind of looks a little haggard. Like maybe you expect that because even though it's a small town, elections are important. But his words are kind of like telling you that I'm just beside myself. Like, I don't know what to do. Elon won't go and see any of the healers, and he won't come out of his room. And like, I haven't even really seen him in a week. Um, please come in, Rafas. We do want your help. I'm sorry about that. I had to put up this charade, but I'm actually really glad you guys are here. Maybe you can get something out of him.
Yeah, we're happy to help. I'm so sorry you're going through this. Let's see what's going on.
Okay. Counselor Boaz starts letting you in, and so the door is wide open. He's welcoming you to come in off the porch, and you're kind of noticing that like it looks really messy, especially for like a counselor's house. Like ordinarily, they need to, have everything in order so that it, looks good for guests. But like here, you're just seeing like nests and piles. Like the couch is covered with sleeping stuff, and there's dishes all over the place. It's very obvious that like the house gnomes haven't really been in to clean it because, otherwise it would be a lot neater. And so he's kind of like welcoming you in and saying that like, um, you know, Elon really promised that he'd go after the election tomorrow, but like, you guys are here and maybe he'll change his mind, and it's just really, really good that you guys didn't turn away at my you know let's just say my very politician-y lies. I'm glad you didn't buy it. So uh yeah, he hasn't been like out of his room in like a week except to go to the bathroom. So like I haven't even like seen his face in like the last 3 or 4 days. I can't even remember, since we got married, how I don't know that we've gone that long without seeing and talking to each other.
Oh, that's awful.
Yeah. But he's in the bedroom right at the end of the hall, so I'm gonna show you to the door, and maybe he knocks on it and says, honey, uh, I didn't call for them. They came of their own accord, but like since they're here, could you just talk to them, please? Like, I know you didn't want to go, but like they're already here. And so the bedroom door, remains shut, but you kind of hear that shuffling of someone kind of making their way over to the door so that they can hear better. And Elon probably just, probably doesn't say a whole lot right off the bat. Like, um, what do you mean someone's here? But I definitely told you I wasn't ready to see anyone.
We're Rafa's. It's Maya and Rafa Frieda. We're gonna come in and see how you're doing.
Oh, no. Don't come in here. I really don't want guests right now, even Rafa's. Take care of yourselves.
Well,
We respect that, but you haven't been out. You haven't been outside in what, weeks now? Your husband's getting worried.
Yeah, I mean, I just think I'm a little under the weather. I'm tired and I'm a little hot, and I, I don't know. I feel stupid, Like, how could we invite someone from the city right before campaigns? Like, if Boaz had gotten sick, I would never have, forgiven myself at getting him sick right at the election. It was stupid to have someone over from the city.
What are you talking about?
Um, Boaz answers the question and is kind of like, yeah, I had a business associate from the city, alumni who didn't, want to stay at the House of Rest, which is, that free tavern that we put on as a show of good faith to, anyone visiting Cahal. So we invited that alumni to stay with us and, talk over some business. I'm trying to get some trade going for our local artisans, and they were going to put it on at their market. So I was trying to just let him stay with us for, a night or two. And unfortunately, he was a little sick, and then my husband caught it and, kind of hold himself up. And as he said, I don't really feel sick. I haven't felt it.
Do you know how this slum guy is doing? Like, is he still sick? Maybe that would tell us what's wrong with Ilan.
Yeah, I mean, we've been in contact since. This is Boaz answering again. He's fine. It was like a little flu or something. He got better really quickly. But Ilan, behind the door is just kind of scoffing and going, he didn't know what he had. It could have been the plague for all we know. And, he's not coughing or anything, so he's not really sounding, I don't know, like plaguish.
You'd be under, you would be under a lot worse condition if it were the plague. Did you say you felt hot or that you were hot?
Both. Why? Yeah, definitely both.
Okay, so if I remember correctly, and well, I do remember this because I've been in this field for a decade now, your symptoms should include chills and what is it now? Oh yeah, is your jaw sore in any way?
No, I guess not. Ilan answers through the door.
It doesn't seem like you have the plague then, because things would be a lot more serious if you did have it.
Yeah, but we don't know what it is. All right, well, will you at least like do something to try to not catch it while you come in, because it definitely seems like you're calling me silly for like not knowing what I have and treating it pretty seriously.
No, it's good to take care, but if you did have the plague, it would be wise to make sure that, you're getting the help that you need to be better. Frieda,
We're trained to
you
do
have
this.
you have a couple of masks, right?
Yeah, I have a few in my satchel, my handy little satchel. So I just
Yeah, because
open it up.
you're a surgeon. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I have it on me, at all times, even when I'm just working the front desk. So, I open my satchel, I grab two masks, and I hold them up. One of them is yellow, the other one is red with some floral patterns, and I ask Maya, which one would you prefer?
I'll take the red one, please.
All right, here you go.
Tie it around.
Yeah, so we both put on our masks. We're ready.
Okay, but you're gonna leave my husband in the hall, right? Like, he really can't get sick right now.
Fine by us.
Okay, then.
Oh,
Ilan opens the door a bit just to let you know that it's not like locked or anything. It's just a little ajar.
Maya will like slide in sideways.
Yeah, and Frieda
Okay,
will
so the
push
minimum
the door
amount.
open.
Okay, so sorry, did you say Frieda just kind of like opens it further after Maya slipped in?
Yeah, so after Maya does that, Frieda steps forward, pushes the door open gently, and just steps inside. And then she just goes, "You really didn't have to do that."
Okay.
I'm gonna say that like Counselor Boaz outside is like, kind of peeking in because he's a little curious at like what the state of their bedroom is after like, 2 weeks of being holed up in there. And you just sort of see like his eyes probably doing like a take of like, oh, I'm a little bit happy to see it's not more messed up in here, and like that, you know, I've been collecting the plates as I go, so like all the plates are out in the living room where you saw them.
I'm gonna shut the
Okay,
door.
okay. Ilan looks, I think, a little relieved at that. So the husband is like trying to get a peek in, kind of becoming a little bit more relieved, but Ilan is definitely relieved once you close the door. You can tell that you bought a little goodwill with that action.
So what's yeah. So yeah, how does Elon look?
Uh, yeah, good question. So, Alon is, standing up. He's looking reasonably, maybe even a little bit skittish, kind of like, um, there's people in my room now, and like I haven't had to deal with that, and I've been, very much kind of like on my own and quiet, so maybe I'm like a little bit more overstimulated. Um, and yeah, maybe Alon even tells you like, yeah, sorry, I'm a little stir crazy right now. Been in here for a while by myself.
Sounds rough.
That's all right.
Um, I assume you guys want to do like a little evaluation or examination. So, yeah, whatever you guys kind of want to do.
Yeah,
I
so
think
I'll like start working on like a basic examination, taking pulse and feeling for temperature.
Okay. Yeah. Elon mentioned being hot, and so you definitely sort of feel that, like, wrapped up in the comforter that is on the bed, and like, the robe that maybe he's wearing, you definitely get the sense that, like, yeah, you're a little bit warmer, but ultimately, like, it kind of just looks like the normal warmness of being under, too many covers and not getting out enough and that sort of thing. So nothing really stands out as far as like, the being hot. Yeah, it's a little warm, but it's not too hot. In terms of, looking really tired, there's a little bit of that, but there's also kind of like a nervous energy that's just going around. So there's kind of more activity than maybe you expect, that sort of thing.
um, so I step forward and I ask, have you experienced any bruising? Have you had any strange marks appear on your skin?
No, nothing like that. I mean, definitely I got a little hot and I started coughing a bit. The cough's mostly gone away, but I just really don't want anyone to get sick from me. Like, I it better safe than sorry at this point, like we only have a couple more days of the election, and then, you know
No soreness or joint pain or anything?
Not really. I mean, I've maybe spent a little bit too much time at the window, you know, gazing out through the curtains, but you know, I think it's more lack of real exercise and getting out. Like I'm used to spending a lot of time with my grandchildren, or I guess Boaz's grandchildren, but you know,
They're yours too.
Yeah.
oh, that's sweet of you to say, darling.
Sorry, that was out of character. I say nothing.
Fair. But yeah, he looks honestly kind of more happy when you mention that they are his grandchildren too.
So I shrug and I look and I turn to Maya and I say, doesn't sound like he has the plague or anything serious, actually.
Do you want to see? Do you want to like see if you can figure out what he has with by divining the ailment's origin?
Yeah, we could give it a shot, but honestly, I think he's just a little sick, and that's all.
Boaz, could we get some clean water and boil some more in case I need to make any herbal remedies?
Sure. Boaz hears you through the door. Maybe you even get a little start that lets you know, like, he was obviously listening in from the hallway,
Yeah.
which maybe you expected anyways, because he's finally getting his husband to see the healers. So he's like, yeah, I'll get some water going. And do you need anything else? Towels? We've got clean towels still. I think I've got some over in the pantry.
Could I get something to eat?
He chuckles and is like, yeah, we definitely have something. I think I've got some sandwich material left over from lunch earlier today. So he'll go and grab you a sandwich. Do you have any food allergies or anything, or just take what you can get at this point?
Yeah, free. I would like anything at all. I haven't eaten. I was stuck at the desk. Let's just say Frieda's just not happy about the fact that she had to work the desk and she's not quite over it yet.
Okay, it sounds like you need something nice and hearty to get you over that funk.
Thank you. I love it when politicians serve us.
um, he doesn't chuckle. He just walks away. You have no idea what he thinks of that comment. Okay. So yeah, he'll go and grab all of that. Ilan is there, and let's look up real quick on the wiki how ailment's origin works, because I should bring that up. So one thing I know I recommend for first-time players is like when we cast something for the first time, kind of read the little story that goes with it. I know I'm not like projecting the screen or anything, so I'm just going to read it out loud. Ailment's origin, the vignette. A humble lump of wax can shed the humble light of a candle or divine the true origin of illnesses. Certainly, this betrays something essential about the light. The light being kind of the deity, or, you know, the divine presence of the Avadai religion. So this skill is going to divine whether an ailment originates from spirits or bodily illness by pouring wax into a bowl of water where it hardens. So I think Boaz is picking up the water and boiling some the boiling just for later. And then we, the game master, are going to tell the Rafas what form their wax takes and kind of what it tells them about whether the origin of the ailment is kind of spiritual or bodily. Okay. So yeah, Boaz can, knock on the door. He's not going to come in because it would just settle on off. But he knocks at the door and says, like, yeah, I've got that bowl of water for you.
Wonderful. Maya will bring it in, not giving Boaz such a great view of inside again, but just taking it quickly and passing it to Frieda so that Frieda can cast Ailment's Origin.
Okay. So you start melting the wax into the bowl, and I think it's really not burning that well for some reason. Like, it's just kind of very dribbly. It's like, rather than melting and kind of like pouring in over the side, it just sort of like dribbles a thin strand that cools in the water, and you get kind of like a very light and non-committal reading. So the divination is kind of saying, eh, there's not a whole lot going on here. It's not really in the body anymore, and it's not really any spirits. So it's just kind of like, it's mostly run its course by now.
Mm. Okay, so I'm, like this, holding the candle up there. And I think I will say, that's strange. Even the wax doesn't seem to know what's going on right now. And I look at Maya, trying to search for answers.
Yeah, I'm at a loss here. Like, it looks like, you're doing all right. Let's I'm gonna take the boiling water and brew up a sort of like tea for anxiety.
Mhm.
Because it seems like, if he's better, like he's still not feeling well, that seems like a mental sort of lock on what he's feeling physically.
Okay. So I'm just going to the wiki and reading up the anxiety tea, making a tincture of lemon balm and alcohol and mixing that into the warm water, like you were saying. And so it is going to ease Alon's mind just a little bit, and you notice that it actually doesn't change his life energy at all. Like, he's already kind of topped off, and so the bonus that ordinarily would be there isn't actually doing anything at all right then. But he does look, I think, a little bit more at ease from just the anxiety tea that you gave him.
Yeah. Well, shall we consult the Book of Spirits?
That might be worth a try. If it isn't physical, it might be something spiritual.
Okay. And ordinarily, I'm just saying this for the benefit of our people watching this Let's Play. Ordinarily, there's not a whole lot of hints from like the game master as to like in the storyteller what spirits might be good, but for kind of the sake of this um, uh, play, we're going to give kind of like a hint that one of the things you guys might consider is like the evil eye and the two shadows. And so the text reads like, every human has two spirits who follow them like shadows. One feeds on your evil inclination, the other on your good inclination. Your evil inclination is not all evil. It contains our base drives to eat and survive, but it also yearns for more than we need to survive. Your evil shadow absorbs your jealousy, your envy of others, wealth and children, or your private disdain of one another. Um, the evil inclination whispers your worst instincts back into your ear. And sometimes that can attract the evil eye. So, you know, if you were to like go around bragging about your good fortune to others, it could attract their evil eyes and their ill intentions on yourself. Um, so those who wish to do evil to another can learn to curse others with their shadow's evil eye. And of course, that would be a crime of the highest proportion, but the highest, yeah. And so the good spirit, meanwhile, is always kind of like thwarting that evil spirit. It's kind of your second conscience, and the work of all humans should be really to feed, you know, your good inclinations and limit, you know, how much you're listening to the evil inclinations. Um, so generally speaking, let's try and use that as a starting point for any sort of like spiritual dimensions that we can get.
Yeah, so it looks like, so maybe it's the evil eye?
Yeah, that would actually make sense, especially with the election coming up and everyone gossiping about them.
Yeah, it says to use sugar and juniper, so maybe we could try that.
Yeah, I wonder if they have that in their home right now.
Boaz will just sort of hear that and you know, no, you know, juniper berries aren't really a thing, but I know, you know, my children have it. I could go over to their house and collect some and come back if you wanted juniper. Of course, we've got the sugar. Everyone needs sugar on hand in case a neighbor comes asking to borrow a cup.
I
Of
don't.
course. Oh my God, Frieda.
um, Frieda not being a good neighbor who can lend out sugar, that is okay in this instance.
Yeah, it's not
Okay,
a surprise.
so I think Boaz is going to go off to, you know, his children's and grab it from their garden because he happens to know that it's there. So he'll depart for a little while and come back. Maybe you guys, do you want to do anything with that time? Do you want to try talking to Ilan? Otherwise, time will pass.
Let's see how Alon's doing. I'm concerned and also like confused because this doesn't come up very often, the evil eye. And so what might have fueled it, you know?
Mm-hmm. So let's see. So maybe when you go back in to talk about it with Ilan, he mentions that yeah, it really has seemed like maybe there has been a lot more gossip this election cycle. Ordinarily, Boaz runs relatively unopposed because, especially from Alon, like Alon is going to tell you, like, yeah, my husband is an absolutely like great guy and really cares a lot, and even though we shouldn't have received that stranger from the city, like it was all really meant to help local artisans sell their goods in the big city, and like yeah, he's just kind of waxing poetic about why his husband normally runs unopposed, but in this case there's um, you know an extra person who has thrown their hat in the ring.
Yeah.
So, who is running against Boaz?
So the person running against Boaz is named uh, Nathan Bet Susan V. Bryan, and he is kind of a little bit of a know-it-all, and has been talking a lot about how he wants to come in and really shake up the status quo, and he doesn't seem to have like a whole lot of substance to what he's been saying, but he has like the passion and the verboseness to like at least get people talking and potentially voting for him.
Hmm. So he's a talker. I see. I see.
Well, Boaz is a doer.
I have to agree. He offered to make me a sandwich.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
We're going to say that Boaz didn't forget that. The person playing this game, might have forgotten, but Boaz is a true servant to the people and brought an absolutely delicious hummus and you know carrot and pepper sandwich that really has like a good chew and crunch to it.
Hmm. So I'm vouching for Boaz because he's not a talker. He's a doer, and I hate talkers. My God, I hate talkers. And then I just look at Maya for a bit.
I do things, Maya says.
Yeah, but you do love to talk.
I do. I like being friendly. It's not a crime.
Um,
So,
I think Alon is kind of finishing up the uh, anxiety tincture that you gave him, and you're kind of definitely noticing like a little bit more brightness as you guys talk nicely about his husband, and um, you almost get the sense that he's not paying as much attention to um, maybe these two shadows behind him, and he's not as affected by the evil eye that you guys have kind of told him might be there, um, but he's still very much kind of like he started sitting down in his little nest next to the window and is starting to like peer out of it, and maybe he's even like yeah, my husband is almost back. He should have whatever materials you guys asked for.
wonderful.
So Boaz starts coming back, but you actually see a second shadow with him. It's a very small one, though, and it turns out to be his granddaughter, Noah. You don't necessarily know her other than, it's a small town. You've seen her around maybe when you go to the school or the house of study where they do some of their schooling, etc. Um, but she's coming in and she's kind of like Bobby, like kind of, prancing around on toes and is like seemingly pretty happy and joyous young girl. And um, so they're making their way into the house, and maybe she's kind of like, I wanted to say screaming, but let's just say like loudly announcing like, me grandpa, it's me. And trying to talk through the door. And Alon is kind of like, Noah, sweet child, you can't be here. Um, you know,
It's
my
all
husband
right.
was only supposed to go and get the stuff. People aren't supposed to be here.
It's all right, Ilan.
Um, yeah, and I guess Noah's like starting to knock on the door and being like, you know, Grandpa says I can see you now, other grandpa. Said it was almost over and you'll finally start coming to pick us up from school again when we get out in the afternoons. And yeah, Boaz is kind of like, yeah, old man, they're missing you. It's really about time to like see everyone. But you can just see Alon is still very nervous about all of this and
I'm gonna
kind of,
like gently pat Ilan on the shoulder, and I'll be like, "Noah, don't worry. You'll see Grandpa Ilan soon. We're here. It's a couple Rafas. It's Rafa Maya and Rafa Frieda. We're making sure that he's really up to speed, and so that you won't get sick too." And then I sort of give a thumbs
okay.
up to Ilan.
Yeah, and Alon isn't saying anything, but you can see him kind of nodding. And I guess Noah outside the door is just kind of like, yeah, okay, Grandpa. It's already been a while. I can wait another couple of days. Um, and so maybe Boaz just mentions like, yeah, we've got the stuff that you wanted. I just ran into our granddaughter, while I was at their house picking the juniper, but I'm gonna send her off now. So, before they even like try and pass, the materials you asked for, Noah's gonna say goodbye and say like, I'll see you soon, Grandpa. Um, okay, so now that Noah's gone, um, what
Now
shall we
that
do?
Noah's gone, I'll open the door for the juniper.
Okay, and yeah, so you've got the juniper and the sugar and the water for the Book of Spirits had told you how you're going to build the concoction, and so um, I think there's only like one more thing that's really kind of like messing with Alon about this whole thing. And it's just like, but who knows what I could have had? Like, there's just something gnawing at him about like not knowing what the illness was, and kind of even the fact that you can't really tell him what it was, even though you've been trying to tell him like it's gone a little bit. So, is there kind of anything we can do just to take that element of like anxiety away still.
What's on your mind, Ilan? What's worrying you?
Well, it's just the fact that no one really knows what it was, did they? And like, the cities are always full of, more disease because more people and like, there's a reason I live out here in Cahal, and a lot of it has to do with the fact that we've got a good Avadai community here, and we all take care of one another. But the city, there's all kinds of people in it, and all kinds of disease and germs, and um, you know, eh, nobody is very holy there, and I don't know, like I think I'm pretty sure it's not the plague because you've told me that, but like it really could have been anything and it could have gone really wrong. And I'm not comfortable with like, you know, us being so dumb about inviting someone from the big city over here right before an election when we need to be our strongest.
So as Frieda steps forward and I say, I understand it's scary. The idea of disease is scary. But we're Rafas, we deal with sick people every single day, and we don't get sick every single day. We don't know what it is yet, and I know that that is terrifying to you, but we know what it isn't, and it's not the plague. It's not anything serious if it's been weeks and you're still alive. So let's just take this one step at a time because we'll be able to figure this out eventually, okay? Reassuring
Okay.
for you.
I mean, it's pretty unfair of me to blame our guest and, you know, really it wasn't that bad. But yeah, if you think I'm okay, maybe at least I'm ready to see my husband.
I think he would love that.
Okay, if you insist.
I don't insist, but I think he would love it.
Okay, some part of you can understand that Lon actually wants to see his husband too. It's been too long. So he shuffles over to the door and kind of like throws it open and is like, "Oh, honey, I'm sorry that I shut myself away and I wasn't there for you when you really needed me, and I hope that you know the community won't judge me too harshly for it."
I think they'll be delighted that you're back on your feet and back out amongst them.
Some of them were saying you were dead, so, they'd probably be happy to see you walking around alive.
Okay, that one gets a chuckle out of Boaz. The counselor starts laughing about I'm thinking of that quote, like, "My death has been greatly exaggerated." I think that was like Huck Finn or something. Okay. I think we can wrap up there. So, in terms of, maybe like a little epilogue scene, we go to, just see that Ilan is out with his husband for, the announcement of how the campaign results came in. And, lo and behold, Counselor Boaz actually stuck the landing. Like, people really do appreciate, the work that he puts into making sure that, they have good trade deals and everything else. And his grandchildren are all very happy to see Grandpa Alon again. And yeah, it's a sweet way to wrap their part of the story.
Woohoo!
Cool.
Yay!
So-
The talkers have lost, the doers have won.
Yeah. So with that, I'm going to stop the recording. This is definitely just a sort of like half scenario of like, maybe it didn't go as in depth as, some could, but it at least gives people a decent idea of what we're trying to do and the vibe that we hope you'll enjoy if you play. So anything you guys want to add before we stop?
I
Okay.
would just like to say that this is like my second or third time playing like a D&D type thing. So I am not an expert. I am not a veteran, but it was really easy for me to follow along. So, to all the viewers out there, if you're a beginner, don't worry because, Society of Rafa is not intimidating at all. It's great. It's fun.
Yeah, like I've been with, Ren and Rachel, the other co-founder, since the beginning, and I think I was running the D&D campaign that inspired Rachel to start working on this game, and I'm like, Society of Rafa feels so custom made for me. It is so wonderful. It is so, calm and cozy and delightful, and I'm just so glad to be a part of it. So I hope you enjoy it too.
Thanks, everyone. We'll see you all later. Have a great
Bye.
day. Bye.
Bye.